Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today have I got a great video for you, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm really excited about this one. It's early in the morning, a little after 7, I think, just out and about, doing my thing. Got to listen to a little Tears for Fears. I need to turn that down. Red light, what do you say? All right, we're gonna be looking into the sun here for just a minute, and then we will make a turn. So I may have you looking at my ugly mug so you're not looking into the sun like I am. I do love this visor on this helmet though, because it really does make it nice. But I digress. So today, what are we going to be talking about? Well, a very important topic. These are my favorite videos, as you guys know. I'm not just a coach by title on a YouTube channel. I actually am a coach. And I take great joy in coaching people, coaching young people, adults, anyone who needs my help. It's something that I've been doing for a long time, and I love doing it. So it's not something that I just do for a salary or just for a title or even for anything other than just the joy of helping other people. So today we're going to be talking about flipping the switch. Flipping the switch. Now I'm here to tell you that flipping the switch is something that matters to you, whether you even know it matters to you or not. It does matter. It matters if you're a husband or a wife, and it certainly will matter to your spouse. It matters if you are a child or if you're an adult with children. It matters if your children are adult children. It just matters in everything you do. Your career, motorcycle riding, driving a car, reading a book, getting physically fit. Flipping the switch is the foundation on which all other disciplines are developed. And it's one of those things that is so often overlooked. It's like, I want to learn to play the guitar. Well, first thing you need to do is learn how to tune the guitar so that you know what it sounds like when you actually play it right. So many people forget to teach you to tune the guitar. You need to be able to tune the guitar. You need to be able to flip the switch. So we're going to talk about that, but before we get going, if you would do me a favor, give this video, that guy lost a front tire, if you would do me a favor, give this video a big old fat thumbs up. Share this video with your friends, get inspired, enjoy your life, man. It is going to be a great day. So grab you a cup of coffee and let's do our thing. Well, I want you to think back to a movie. It was a movie that was probably, I think it was called Over the Top. It had Sylvester Stallone in it. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of that movie right here.
What I do is I just try to take my hat and I turn it around, and it's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like a truck, like a machine.
All right, well that is an extreme example of flipping the switch, of turning that hat to become what it was he needed to become in order to be competitive and be able to win. Now, so often in life, we think of things as athletic endeavors, and we think about pursuing excellence in that. If you were an athlete in school, that's a buddy of mine right there. When we were in school and we were playing football or running track or whatever it is, we're going to get in front of this truck here. That way I don't get run over by the guy behind me. But so many times we think about pursuing excellence only in the athletic world. We work hard. We would put on that face, the eye of the tiger, right? You remember the song? And we would do that. We would listen to a song. We would get emotionally prepared to go into battle, to go into that game, and it was a wonderful thing. That is flipping the switch. That's what it looks like. I'm going to share a little story with you about when I was working for the Federal Aviation Administration. I was a manager. Now, it's odd because I'm going to tell you some things. You're going to be like, man, you were harsh, coach. Things matter when you're an air traffic controller, and I remember, you'd tell someone to be back after a break. You tell them to be back, say, on the top of the hour. You didn't want them early. You didn't want them 5 minutes early, and you didn't want them 5 minutes late. If I told you I wanted you back on the hour, I wanted you back on the hour. I wanted you signed on, ready to go at 0. It mattered because, whether you were dealing with the union contract or whether you were dealing with federal law, People can only work a certain amount of time on position. And so you had to make sure that those people, it had to be precise. And precision was very important. So I had a young man that had gotten hired, and he was young. I mean, in his defense, he was young, and he had jobs where we will say precision was not paramount. Okay, it just wasn't. And he had been on another supervisor's team, and they were having problems with him, and he wasn't doing real well in his development as an air traffic controller. He showed up late every day. Now, when I say late, I don't mean late a lot. I mean 90 seconds late, 2 minutes late. But he was late every single day. The other managers were very frustrated with him because precision, it starts, it's a foundation, it has to be built up. So day one, he's on my team, he's late, like a minute or two late. So I pull him into the conference room and we have a talk. And by a talk, I mean kind of we'll just call it a butt chewing is what we called it back when I was a young man. And, I chewed him out. I told him, hey man, you have to be here on time. When you have to be here on the hour, you need to be here on the hour. A minute and a half, you're late. Let me give you a pointer. If you leave 15 minutes early, you'll get here at 1:45. There's not a shortcut. There is no crack in the time-space continuum. If you leave earlier, you get there earlier. If you leave later, you get there later. This is not rocket science. I expect you to be here on time, ready to go to work every single day. And I had to do some work with him in the radar room, what we would I'll call it an over-the-shoulder, where I had to sit down as a manager and evaluate his progress. So we're getting ready to go into the radar room. I told him, go fix yourself a cup of coffee, meet me in the radar room at 15. So he goes in, makes his coffee. So in the hallway, we're getting ready to enter the radar room. And when he is walking in the radar room, I mean, he is like, you would think that I had spit in his coffee. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so I said, hey, let's walk back out in the hallway. And we walked back out in the hallway, and I said, look, what's going on? He goes, well, you got mad at me. I said, look, I'm not mad at you. Don't confuse this with anger. I'm not mad at you. What I want you to do is be a professional at your job. And I have to explain to you right now, you got chastised for something that you did. That being said, what I need you to do right now is I need you to check it at the door, because when we walk in this radar room, people's lives are at stake. And if you cannot check it at the door, I'm going to have to explain to families and lawyers why you killed people in this airplane. You have to check it at the door. You have to flip the switch. You're a young man. You're starting a very serious career. It is just serious by the very nature of what you're going to do. So what I need you to do is check it at the door, because there's going to come a time when you're later in life, you're going to have a sick wife, or you're going to have a sick child. You're going to get in an argument with your wife. You're going to have a sleepless night. And you're going to be mad, or you're going to have something happen with your family that's serious, that's bad, and you have to check it at the door. Because when you walk beyond this door into this radar room, you have a job to do, and people's lives are counting on you doing it properly. You have to flip the switch. Can you do that? And he goes, I think I can. I'm like, no, I'm not asking you if you think you can. Can you do it right now? He goes, yes. I said, all right, I want you to walk back in the break room. I want you to put your coffee in the microwave, heat it back up. Meet me in the radar room in 5 minutes. And I want you to show up with your game face on, ready to go. And he did. He did. And I'm going to tell you, that day was a turnaround for him. And he did very well from that point forward. I would love to say that everyone learns after one time, but we don't. He did. And years later, when we discussed this particular scenario, he laughed about it, because now he's a manager giving the same speech, and I'm retired. Isn't that funny? How a concept of checking it at the door and flipping the switch, he was able to save lives, have an excellent career, and be able to lead others into greatness in their career. I mean, you talk about just make you feel good inside, when I have those conversations with him, it feels great. So let's talk about how this applies, what you can do in order to flip that switch for you. First, let's talk about the value of it and recognizing that it's necessary. Let's say, for example, you're a father, you come home, you had a bad day at work, and your kid is doing poorly in school, and all of a sudden you're mad. You're just mad. And you honestly, as a parent, you have a right to be angry. I understand it. We all want our children to do great. But what we do, if we're not careful, is we will unload on them. We'll take our bad day at work, or we'll take something that's happened, and we'll just unload it on our kids. And that's wrong, man. And we have to recognize that there is a need to flip the switch. You know, when you get on a motorcycle or a Spyder, you're putting your life on the line. Your body is exposed. You need to flip the switch. You're entering a world that matters more than the guy in the Ram 1500. Because if you don't, you could end up seriously dead. And you need to think about what you're doing. You need to get in a mode. If you're going to go to the gym, if you want tremendous results, then you're going to have to flip the switch when you walk into the gym and get serious about what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. Become the best at what you are about to do. Whatever endeavor you're getting ready to take on, you need to chase it with all of the vigor that you can possibly muster. And flipping that switch is the first step in doing that. So what does flipping the switch look like? Well, I can tell you what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like showing up unprepared, haggard, and late. That it doesn't look like. You know, you have to flip. The first switch you have to flip is the one that says, get out of the dang bed. That's a hard one too. As we get older, you know, one of two things happens. Either you can't sleep at all, or you want to sleep all day. So to create a circadian rhythm and make yourself get out of bed at a certain time, and to have the discipline to do those things, you have to flip the switch to do that. I have to flip the switch every morning. I told Coach Vic here recently, after my heart stuff was going on, I said, man, I'm finding it very difficult to flip the switch. It's like it rusted up. And when I move it, it won't move. I gotta spray some PB blaster on it or something. And there is no PB blaster. The way it is you gotta flip it every day. It gets easier. The more you do it, the more you use it, the easier it gets. So the first switch you gotta flip is the one that tells you get up and get on with it. So how do I do that? How do I make myself just get out of the bed? Vicki asks me that a lot because she struggles in the morning. And I told her, I'm like, there is no trick. There is no trick. You just have to fight the urge. You have to just get up. The switch for me is I have a bottle of water on my nightstand, and I'm thirsty when I wake up in the morning, and I grab that bottle of water, I pop the top off of it, and I chug it before I get out of the bed. I'm sitting there with my feet on the floor, and I drink 16 ounces of water real quick, and that's how I start my day. So I know when I do that, that's me flipping a switch. Opening that bottle cap requires a little physical force, and I flip the switch and I'm ready to attack the day. I'm starting it well hydrated and I'm ready to go. Let's talk about motorcycle riding. What is flipping the switch? Why would I flip the switch, or how would I even flip the switch when it comes to this? Well, honestly, if you watch a lot of motorcycle racing, in Marc Marquez, you'll see these guys, they'll do like a deep knee bend beside the motorcycle. I used to think it was just to stretch their leathers out, you know? But there's much more going on. They're emotionally preparing. They're doing a physical action that puts them in a place in their mind that says, you're ready to race. And that's what they do. And they do it every single time. And you could pretty much, you could take the colors and numbers off of motorcycle riders, and with relative precision, my 10 favorite riders, I can tell you who they are by the way they move before they get on their motorcycle when they're getting ready to race or qualify for racing. They do the same things over and over and over and over again. It's awesome to see because they're flipping the switch. That's exactly what they're doing. Jocko Willink, if you haven't listened to him, he's a retired Navy SEAL motivational speaker guy. He calls it beast mode. He likes to turn on beast mode. And he'll tell you that when he is in beast mode, he's unstoppable. He is unstoppable. The only thing that will stop him is death. And when he flips that switch, it's for real. The biggest lie that we tell ourselves way too often is that what we do doesn't matter and that what you're doing isn't important. You know, that's the greatest lie that Satan could tell you, is that your life doesn't matter, that your day doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you, even if you don't have anything planned today, if you're a retiree like I am, and you have decided that today, I'm just going to go for a motorcycle ride, that motorcycle ride matters. It matters. It matters that you get up, you gear up, you square up, you prepare yourself emotionally, and you ride with the vigor of a professional. I know you're saying, well, Coach, I just want to go out and relax. You can do that too, but you have to approach this thing a certain way in order to be safe and in order to do it properly. I think about things when I go out on motorcycle rides. I think about skills. I think about how I'm going to do one thing or another. But I always have to be in that place. I have to be prepared, because what if a deer ran out right here? I have to be ready. I have to be emotionally prepared to stop. Am I covering my brake? Am I ready to go? What would I do if this happens? What would I do if that happens? I emotionally prepare myself. Before I get on any motorcycle, all my friends see me. I do a deep knee bend, as kind of a squat before I get on a motorcycle. Now, I do have hip pain, so it makes it a little easier to get on and off of it. But the first time I get on it, when I emotionally prepare, the switch is flipped. It's flipped. And when I'm in it, I'm in the mode, man. I'm in the zone, and I'm there. And then relationships in our life. We look at those and we go, man, okay, my wife is here. She loves me and I love her. And okay, I'm going to get up. I'll have my coffee. She'll get up and she'll have hers. And we'll exist together today. And then tomorrow we'll exist again. And we'll just do our thing. And we'll drift through life. And there's nothing wrong with relaxing together and drifting together. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a time and a place for everything. And I believe that in relationships, if you will flip that switch, there's going to be a time where you don't feel like being nice. There's going to be a time when you're tired, you're grumpy, your body's hurting, whatever it is, that you don't feel like doing it. But you need to flip the switch and do it anyway. That's just the way it is. And if you want to have great relationships, you can have average relationships and be apathetic and average. But if you want excellent relationships, you're going to have to pursue excellence in that endeavor daily. Daily. So you have to get up and flip the switch. It's not an act. It's not an act. You know, people, myself included, we are all inherently lazy. You know, they say that in the 21st century, you know what the new smoking is? Are you ready? This is the new smoking. Sitting down. Sitting down is the new smoking. They say that sitting down is as dangerous for this generation as smoking was for ours. I believe it. I believe it. There's so much entertainment. There's so much hands reach entertainment, whether it's on a phone, on a television. I sit down way too much, and I try to stay active. I try to catch myself when I do it. But you think about how much you sit on your rear end, you need to get up and you need to move. You do. And it's easy to not do that. You have to force yourself to do things. So not only do you have to flip the switch when you're riding a motorcycle, in your relationships, you have to do it for personal excellence as well. If you're ever going to be what you want to be, you know, if you were to ask anyone, hey, you could weigh 400 pounds and feel like crap and not be able to walk 2 flights of stairs, or you could be built like David Goggins and be able to run 30 miles and laugh in the face of torture. You would pick, I want to be more like Goggins. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. I want to be healthy and I want to be strong. I don't care about, you know, looking like Mr. Olympia. That's not important to me. But I want to be healthy and strong. And that only comes by paying the price with what you put in your mouth and not sitting down all the time. Intellectual excellence, flipping the switch. I need to read a book. Well, I don't feel like reading a book. I don't want to read a book. You know, the switch can be the switch on the remote. When I turn the TV off, I read. Okay? Maybe your TV's on all day. Maybe you need to just turn it off. Flip that switch. That's a good one to start with, isn't it? All of this applies to all of this. It applies to everything. You pursue excellence in everything you do. There is nothing that you don't chase excellence in. You know, one of the struggles that I have in my life, as you guys know, is I've taken care of a lot of ill people in my life. And whether it's the ones who have died or the ones that I'm taking care of now or whatever. The reality is, you get the call at 3 in the morning. There are times you're tired and you don't want to go. And if you flip the switch regularly in things that are small, when the critical things come up, you're going to be able to easily flip the switch in doing those things. That's the value. You know, people ask me, well, why is it important to get up? Why is it important to go to the gym? Why is it important? I don't see the value in it, Coach. It's just not that. Well, when you have a sick wife or a sick parent or a sick child and you have to flip the switch at the drop of a hat and you've already done it 1,000 times, tens of thousands of times, you know what discipline looks like and you know how to flip the switch. So what I'm asking you to do today is to think about it. Before you get on your motorcycle, flip the switch. Figure out a way to do it. What that means, it could be moving a necklace. It could be grabbing a necklace. It could be the way you fasten your helmet. A series of events. A sequence of events. When you get out of the bed in the morning, do it systematically. Think about what you're doing. Flip the switch. Prepare yourself for success, and success will find its way to your doorstep. Because I can tell you, you're going to have to earn it the old-fashioned way. That's the only way it comes. That's the only way it comes. You know, Coach Hyder had this thing, you know, my football coach, he talked about never quitting, and success to him was winning. That was it. It was just to win. He would say this: there are two kinds of people in life, winners and losers. Losing is not a sin. It's not to be shamed for if you've given your all. He goes, but there is one thing harder than losing, and that's winning. Because the preparation required to win is way more difficult than sitting around and complaining about it. The people that sit around and complain invariably lose, and the people that work hard invariably win. They are both suffering just in different ways. You know, I thought about that as a young man when I was chasing my career and trying to build good relationships, you know, and what kind of foundation I am laying. Do I want to pay the price now so that I can win, or do I want to pay the price at the abysmal thoughts and feelings of failure? You know, some things in my life, it's too late. You know, I'm not going to run a sub 3-hour marathon. I wanted to do it. That was a big goal of mine, and I was plagued with injuries. And so when I was in the peak shape of my life, I was ready to run a 250. I sustained an injury from a bicycle accident and ran a 310. And it was horrible because I felt great cardiovascularly, and I felt like muscularly I was ready, but my hip injury just would not allow me to run the last 10K. I basically walked. I was hobbling. I could barely stand, and still did a 310. I would have easily done a 250. You can still hear it in me, right? But that's one thing I'll never do. I'll never do it. And that's just the way it is. Could I have done it? I think that had I come off of that and really worked myself back into a healthy place, I could have done it. But what happened is I had someone get sick, and that switch had to be flipped so that I could take care of that person. So understand, you also have to prioritize which switch is flipped. You got a wall of switches, and you got to know which ones to turn on and turn off. And it's really, really important. Really important. All right. Well, I can tell you that if you will think about this today, consciously think about what you're doing in each endeavor you pursue, flip the switch. It could be with a song. It could be with a blink. It can be by simply closing your eyes for 3 seconds and go, I'm in. I'm all in. You know, when your spouse hacks you off because you know, they said something to you, you can close your eyes for 3 seconds and go, I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to fix them a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit down right here with them. I'm going to talk to them. You don't have to beat the person up emotionally. You don't have to win the argument to win in life. In fact, a lot of times losing the argument is a better solution because you might be wrong. In fact, I find it more times than not, and I'm not saying this to make Coach Vic feel better, more times than not, if we are having a difference, it's probably because I woke up with an attitude and I didn't flip the switch. All right, so now you've learned that you have a switch. It needs to be flipped, and it needs to be flipped in every endeavor and why you do it and some strategies on how to. I want you to go out today and pursue excellence. You know, you hear me, and I'm going to say it here in a minute where we go, seize the day. I mean that. Seize it. Chase it. It's elusive. Excellence is elusive. And if you don't seize it, you'll never have it. All right. Well, there you have it, another one in the book. So I want you to do me a favor. Yes, you go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams. Eat right. Take care of yourself. And remember, if you're not having fun, you are definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon.